Hello and welcome to my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. Make sure to subscribe down below for more daily Yu-Gi-Oh content. So today we're looking at a brand new card that's coming out of Blazing Vortex. These are more TCG imports. This is Steel Star Regulator. It's a Link 3 light attribute machine link monster with 1000 attack. The link points are the top left, the bottom left, and the bottom right. And materials are 3 non-link monsters. It gains attack equal to the combined original levels / ranks of monsters used for its link summon times 100. You can target one non-link monster your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to this card, destroy it. Then if this card was link summoned, using an Xyz monster as material, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the destroyed monster's original attack. You can only use this effect of Steel Star Regulator once per turn. Okay, this is a very weird card for what its effect is. First, its summoning condition isn't that great. It does require 3 non-link monsters, so I know you can just go with normal monsters if you want, pet monsters, Xyz monsters, whatever it requires. So, at least it's got that going for it. But depending on what you're going for, it seems to be it will gain more power from level-based monsters than it will from rank-based monsters, because you're more likely to get level 8 monsters out than rank 8 monsters out to boost this card's attack. If you were to manage to get 3 level 8s to bring this card out, you'd have a 3,400 attack monster, so that's not bad. The other thing is it does reward you for using an Xyz monster, so potentially it rewards you for having this card have weaker attack, which you might not be able to gamble for. The destruction effect is okay, but there are so many other cards that do this with so many fewer resources needing to be attached to it. And the thing is, it's only equal to half the destroyed monster's original attack. You got that effect with Elemental Hero Flame Wingman in it, so it's definitely not something I would consider running. The next card is Audius Le Dealman Trifaskit or Trifaskit Dealman Audius. It's a level 9 Dark Attribute themed type fusion effect monster with 3000 attack. 3000 defense. It requires a Synchro monster, an Xyz monster, and a Link monster to be summoned. Once while this fusion summon card is on the field, you can pay life points in multiples of 2000 and apply one of these effects for every 2000 life points paid. You can only apply each effect once. Add 1 spell or trap card from your graveyard to your hand, destroy 3 cards your opponent controls, and this turn this card gains attack equal to half the difference between your life points and your opponent's, and also your opponent's other monsters cannot attack. You can only activate this effect once per turn. Okay, so the summoning condition on this card is really bizarre. Getting those 3 types of monsters out is so difficult anyway. Yes, I know you've got cards that can do this relatively easily. Crane, for example, can get you into a rank 3 Xyz monster relatively simply. You can get even just a Link 1 monster would do for the Link monster, and Synchro summoning is okay, but using these different elements of decks together is more complicated, especially if you considering you're going to have to run Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, Link. It becomes a massive headache. The effects are also quite difficult to justify using as well, because to trigger all of them you have to get rid of 6,000 life points. That is a massive trade-off, and you're putting yourself in a position where you could be finished within the next turn. Being able to recover a spell or trap card from the graveyard to the hand is an okay effect, but there's so many spell or traps that have this type of either dual effect where they work both on the field and in the graveyard, or are able to recover in some way or another some resource, so that effect is not that relevant. The destroying 3 cards is quite good because you're wiping out 3 of your opponent's cards, but the problem with that is to summon this card you need 3 cards plus the Polymerization, so you're -4 cards anyway. You're always going to be down summoning this card. Also, your opponent might have cards that have protection effects from destruction, which means actually some of these might not work. And the other thing is, okay, it does gain the attack for the difference between yours and your opponent's life points, so I can consider if your opponent has 8,000 life points and you've got 2,000 left, this does become a very powerful monster, but it's only half the difference. It's not the full difference. If it had been the full difference, I would say yes, this card is decent, but otherwise I think it's a little bit too weak for what you need. And we've got a new form of Polymerization here, and this is the final card. It's called Greater Polymerization. It's a normal spell card, and the effect is fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using 3 or more monsters from your hand or field as fusion material, and if you do, it gains these effects. This card cannot be destroyed by card effects, and if this card attacks a defense position monster, you can inflict piercing battle damage. So what I like about this card is it protects your monsters from being destroyed by card effects. That's always a useful part of an effect. It's really good for providing you with protection, and actually piercing damage can also be quite useful. The main example I can consider with this card is Vision Hero Trinity, and lots of people have been in agreement with it. It does require 3 materials to summon anyway, so that's a really good example, and on the turn it's summoned, its attack going from 2,500 to being doubled to 5,000. Being able to do piercing damage means you can instantly OTK your opponent, and your opponent is more than likely not going to be able to react to it. The downside of this is it does require you to summon fusion monsters that require 3 or more monsters anyway. So if you've got other monsters, bad luck, you can't use it along this card, which is a massive downside. If it had more flexibility to it, I could see it being splashed into multiple types of decks. But even so, it's nice that there's a new polymerization that people can rely on rather than an archetypal version. Just a generic version is always a good thing to do.